All right. Hello, everybody. I think we are live. Welcome to another episode of the Google Autocomplete Showdown. I am Saudi, your Thrive coach from FuelFit. So each week we will type in some keywords regarding health and fitness and see what is the most search based on the autocomplete Google gives us. And this week we have how much protein should I eat? All right. Okay. So let me just pull out my slides very quickly. There you have it. All right, okay. So to answer this question, I think I do have quite a lot of students ask me as well. So what we're going to cover today is, of course, why protein is important, okay, and how it's a very useful macronutrient when it comes to weight loss and also increasing, not just weight loss, but also fat loss and increasing your muscle. Okay, at the same time, we'll go through very quickly how much you should have, and then a very quick list of protein sources, or rather which are the better ones actually, the more value for calories, so to speak, okay? And then especially for those of you who are vegetarian, you will want to pay attention to some of the things I'm going to discuss in a while. All right, okay? So I am going to start. All right, okay, so the first one, very simply, what is protein, right? Okay, so protein is obviously one of the macronutrients. We have carbohydrates, we have fats, and of course we have protein. Okay, so you may hear somebody mentioned this before. So protein is basically made out of all this thing called amino acids. Okay, there's actually a whole range of amino acids. There's many different numbers and codes. So they are all different amino acids string together, all right, which make proteins. Okay, and protein is actually a very important thing because yeah, I'm going to come to that in the next slide. But essentially, our body actually produces some of these amino acids. However, like I mentioned, there's actually many different kinds of amino acids, right? So the essential amino acids actually has to be consumed, all right? So even though our body produces it, it's not enough. We do need to add it to our body through food, all right? Okay, so why is it important? Okay, so number one is essential to good health. Okay, why is it essential to good health? Because they are literally the building blocks of your body. Okay, we know carbohydrates gives us energy, but protein is really the macronutrient that helps to build our body, help to repair our body. All right, okay. So everything from the meat on your bones, your hair, your blood, your connective tissues, your fingernails, all right, and then of course your antibodies, enzymes, everything is actually made of protein. Okay, so you will have heard of recently, because with the COVID-19 vaccine, actually it is the protein that well, basically our body recognizes a lot of these amino acids and protein to decide what to do with them. All right, okay, so protein is actually very important. Okay, but more so if you are looking at weight management and looking to get lean, all right, it is actually a very useful macronutrient as well. All right, okay, so why do I say this, right? Okay, so okay, when it comes to weight management, okay, protein is one of the macronutrients that actually helps to keep you full for a long time. All right, keep you full for a longer time. Okay, it actually provides you with more satiety, meaning you won't feel like so mouth itchy all the time. All right, so it kind of regulates your appetite. So because of that, right, it helps with managing your total calorie intake overall. Okay, so there's less chance of you snacking between your meals. You just tend to eat less. Okay, so the recommendation for it to work well is to have at least 30% of your calories, your total calories, be protein. Okay, so some of the studies actually have been made to show that it really works. Okay, so over here we have one study with the men. Okay, they are obese and then they consume about 25% of calories from protein. Okay, and they really reported feeling full, and then they actually reduce their late night snacking as well. Okay, and then they don't really think about food as much. Okay, they actually reduce it by as much as 50 to 60%. That's pretty big. All right, and that really helps you to keep to the so-called plan, because it's very easy to drop off a plan when you are in a calorie deficit plan because you feel hungry and everything, right? So protein really helps with that. All right, okay, and then of course there's another one where we have a group of women. Okay, when they change their protein intake to 30%, right, they actually end up eating over 400 calories less. Okay, simply because they don't feel like eating as much. Okay, and they very successfully lost 5 5 kg over the 12 weeks, simply by adding more protein to their diet. All right, pretty awesome, right? Okay, so let me take a look at who's with us today. All right, we have a few viewers. Hi, buddy. Okay, so if you are here joining us, do like and subscribe to our channel, and also look at joining our Facebook group. Okay, this is where we provide plenty of tips and then also a lot of challenges for you to get healthy and fit. All right, okay, so let me go on. Okay, so other than weight management, okay, there is another critical area which we always talk about, is making sure that you can maintain your muscle mass. Okay, for those of you who are already at a pretty high level of muscle mass, you want to maintain it. And those of you who are looking to build muscle mass, this is also very important. Okay, why? Like I mentioned, remember, proteins are your building blocks, right? Okay, so this is especially important if you're looking to lose fat at the same time. Why? Because if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to lose fat, right? We are definitely in calorie deficit already. Okay, so once you're in calorie deficit, there is a chance that if you don't eat enough, you may suffer muscle loss as well. Okay, so because you're in calorie deficit, all the more important, you must make sure you have enough protein. Okay, so we're looking at about 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight. All right, so for example, if you are 50 kgs, then you will want to be consuming up to about 110 grams of protein. All right, 110 grams of protein, that's your top limit. Okay, and then of course, at least, what's my math? I think it's 80 grams, at least 80 grams of protein. So 80 grams of protein to 110 grams of protein if you are 50 kilos. All right, okay. So this is to make sure that while you're losing weight, while losing fats, your muscle mass doesn't get compromised. Okay. However, how to calculate, right? This formula is only accurate if you are not having super high fat mass. Okay, so if your body fat tend to be higher, then you need to do some calculations. What's your lean mass, all right, lean muscle mass, or you can use your target goal weight to calculate your protein needs. All right, okay. So these are just some examples of the studies that back up all this quantity. All right, okay. Okay, so what about the special population? So basically, I've covered so far. If you are just looking to maintain and gain muscle mass, you are looking at 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight, all right? And if you are looking just maintain weight loss per se, just gun for 30% of your total calories, which means if whatever you calculate and your maintenance calorie or your calorie deficit is going to be 2,000, your calorie allowance a day is 2,000 calories, which means out of that 30%, which will be 600 calories, right? 600 calories? Am I divided by 2? Yeah, 600 calories of that will come from your protein. All right, okay? Okay, let me just push on. Okay, what about special populations? So if you are pregnant, okay, because whatever I introduced just now, right, are for different goals, right? Okay, whether it's trying to lose weight, lose fats, or gain muscle, those are for those goals. But if you are a special population, so for example, if you're pregnant, you want to aim for 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilograms of your body weight. Okay, if you're breastfeeding, then you use about 1.3, and then on top of that, right, you add another 25 kilograms. 25 grams. Okay, so if you are 50 kilos, then you will add on about 65 grams. You will have 65 grams of protein, then you add on 25 extra because of your breastfeeding. Okay, then if you are an older adult, definitely you also want to make sure you have enough protein. Okay, because as an older adult, there are higher risks of osteoporosis and sarcopenia. Sarcopenia means muscle loss. Okay, so you want to prevent these two things from happening. You want to make sure you have enough protein as well. All right, okay. Okay, so I do get some questions sometimes about this. Can we end up eating too much protein? All right. Okay, so there's some people will say, oh, if I eat too much protein, maybe I will get a kidney issue. Okay. The thing is, if you have an existing kidney issue, then yes, you can't have too much protein. But for most, in fact, almost all the healthy adults, okay, there is really no so-called upper limit for protein. You may end up wasting it, so to speak, because your body don't need so much, okay, but there's no real risk of consuming too much protein, okay. However, of course, if you are you are consuming a lot of protein, and because of that, you end up in excess calories, then of course that could lead to weight gain as well. All right, okay, so you can't have too much of the good thing also. Okay, so you want to just make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next part, which is what protein should I eating then? All right, okay, where do I get enough protein? Okay. Okay, so before I go on to the food list, right, I want you to understand this concept of, okay, this term is coined by myself. I call it the protein coefficient. Okay, so meaning, right, you want it to be more value for calories, so to speak. Okay, okay, so it's basically a gram of protein as a percentage of the total calories of the food. Okay, so for example, right, in one egg, okay, one large egg is usually about 70 calories. But out of these 7 calories, right, you only get 6 grams of protein. All right, you only get 6 grams of protein. And versus, right, about 79 to 80 grams of tuna, we eat it, right, is also 70 calories, but it gives you 16 grams of protein. So why am I concerned about this protein coefficient, right? It's because if I'm already on a calorie budget, so to speak, I want to make sure that if I want to make sure I have I want to make sure that I keep within my calorie budget, right? And then at the same time, I want to make sure I hit my protein goal. Then I need to be concerned about this protein coefficient to make sure that I get enough protein within my calorie budget. So that's why this concept is important. All right, okay. So let's take a look at if you do take meat, all right, you notice that most of the meat gives you a very nice coefficient. Okay, I'm just going to make this bigger because there's a lot of numbers. Okay, so most of the meats gives you a nice coefficient, okay, 0.2. All the way down lowest is like ham, which is 0.1. Okay, but we try not to take so much processed meat. Okay, so if you can, lean cuts of these meats will give you about 0.13 to 0.2. All right, these are your meats. Okay, egg, you'll be surprised. Actually, it only gives you 0.08. Okay, but still pretty decent. Okay, you will see that the other sources later on, right, the coefficient actually gets rather small. Right. Okay, so you have, this is for your meat. Okay, and then for seafood, you notice that seafood has a pretty good protein coefficient. All right, so tuna is very high. Remember I just mentioned just now. Okay, which means when you eat tuna, you get plenty of protein for the calorie that you're actually consuming. Okay, of course, salmon is a little bit lower in the coefficient because it is higher in fat. Okay, so some of the calories actually need to attribute to the fat instead. That's why you are getting slightly less protein, so to speak. Okay, so basically you're looking for higher the protein coefficient, the better. Okay, so look at these numbers for the meat and the seafood, right, and poultry as well. Okay, you'll notice that if you are vegetarian, and then you may probably need some dairy products. Why? Because dairy products like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or string cheese, these are very healthy numbers here. You have 0.12 to 0.18. Okay, because take a look at the next slide. If I'm a vegetarian, I apologize for the small print. You realize that the highest protein coefficient I can get, right, is literally from asparagus, which is 0.11, and then after that is soybeans, and then edamame. All these are soy products actually. So soy products usually gives you about 0.09 to 0.1, and then lentils is 0.09. Okay, so even the highest vegetarian source, you can see that the protein coefficient is much lower than what is available in the meats, right? Okay, so if you can, you might need to add on with some dairy products like your Greek yogurt. Okay, on top of that, right, even within the vegetarian source, right, you take a look at this. Even though asparagus is the highest one, you do know that you need to eat a lot of asparagus to feel as full as a piece of chicken. All right, so that is why even though asparagus may have a good protein coefficient, you probably need to end up eating some other things as well to top up. So that's why when we talk about vegetarian sauce, you will often hear people say that, oh, lentils is a good choice. Okay, so if you're a vegetarian, I think if you look down the list, right, you will see that soybean sauces, all right, soybean sauces, and then your lentils are good options for your protein. Okay, then of course we have the nuts as well. You realize nuts, we always say that, okay, if you need, you can add on nuts for your protein source for vegetarian, right? But you notice that their protein coefficient is rather low. Okay, so which means that you notice here, I get 9 grams of protein for 159 calories. So that's not very value for calorie. So that's why for seeds and nuts, you want to be quite, not too much lah, just a little bit to supplement, okay? Okay, so just want to bring your attention to this, okay? All right, okay, so usually at this point, most people will start asking me, okay, Saudi, what about supplements? Okay, can I just take protein powder? Okay, so protein powder is actually made of whey. Whey is a milk derivative product. Okay, so of course there are vegan sources now as well. You have pea protein and whatnot. So I would say all your protein powders is a potential option, especially if you're on the go, because it is a lot more convenient. All right, it's just a lot more convenient. You don't have to worry about preparing them. But I think if you are talking about weight management, my question is always, if you just drink a shake, right, a protein shake, will it keep you full for a long time? All right, because I think as humans, we do enjoy chewing. Chewing actually helps with keeping us satisfied longer as well. Okay, so I would say protein shakes, not bad. All right, it's just that all things considered, it will not be my first choice. My first choice will still be my whole foods. All right, okay. All right, okay, so let me see if any questions. If not, all right, just now the whole list, all right, I know the prints are very small. If you would like a full list of the protein sources with all the protein coefficient calculated for you, you can comment me below, all right, then I will message you directly with the list, okay? If you have found this useful for you so far, please do like and share this with your friends as well. All right, okay, so that's all from me today. Let me take a look. Any comments? No questions? Okay, no questions, good. Okay, so again, but if you're watching this, catching up later on, if you have questions, just put it in the comments. I will definitely answer them later on. All right, okay. So do join us if you're not already part of our Facebook group, Strong and Thriving. Do join us with the bit.ly link over here. We do run periodic challenges. We drop a lot of fitness tips and hacks as well. So do join us in the family. All right, okay. So that's it from me today. And one last announcement. Okay, so based on the poll, looks like what is popular will be the weekly fitness challenge. Okay, weekly fitness challenge. So you can look forward to that on Sunday. All right, okay, so I will see you on Sunday and next Thursday as well. Okay, so have a good rest of the week and bye-bye.